Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I'm a voice teacher. Today I will be reacting to and analyzing Dua Lipa performing The Hills, the song by The Weeknd.
Radio 1.
Your girl on the road, she doing promo. You said keep our business on the low, low. I'm just trying to get you out the friend zone, 'cause you look even better than the photo.
She's got a low voice. She's singing quite low. I mean, so far she's going down to that E flat. It's an E flat 3, which is it an unreachably low note? Not for most ladies, but it's definitely on the low end, especially to be able to get as much kind of presence as she gets in that part of her range. So low notes are weird because it's less about technique and much more about just genetics, genetic ability to get to low notes, how big your vocal folds are, how long your vocal tract is, where your resonances naturally sit. However, we can do a lot of things to kind of make it easier to go down to those lower notes in a really healthy and nice way. And the biggest thing is just relaxing. Like, we don't want to try to force these notes out. If we went to da da, like that wouldn't work, because we're reaching for it, we're lowering the chin, we're just blasting air. I find a lot more success personally and with my students just by trying to relax down to those notes, and usually finding it on an E vowel kind of finds the right resonance most of the time that makes it more successful. But she seems really good down there. Like, she's got a lot of facility in her lower voice.
Found out I was coming, sent your friends home. Keep on trying to hide it, but your friends know. I only call you when it's half past 5, the only time that I'll be by your side. I only love you when it's best me. Don't feel me, 'cause I'm messed up, that's the real me. 'Cause I'm messed up, that's the real me, babe.
And then she had that little catch breath in the middle of it. With the I only, she had a little bit of a glottal onset, which helps with just bringing the vocal folds together. We don't want it to be a constricted onset. We don't want it to be like, I. That starts feeling really bad very quickly. I didn't hear that with her. It sounded like she got right onto the air after she started with that little poppy sound at the beginning, that I only, and it wasn't squeezing to get it. It was just gently bringing the vocal folds together before she started the air moving. And that's called a glottal onset. So she sounded really good with that so far. And then most pop music, you don't really need too much air, but that line that she was doing, the da 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 da, like some of the lines in this require a little bit more air than others. She took just enough to get through to that place where she took the teeny little breath, and then she got just enough air for that next part. So I pointed out because that catch breath that she did wasn't a gasping gulp of air where she was just trying to force in as much air as possible. She only needed air for another like 4 or 5 words or whatever. So she only took in enough air for that 4 or 5 words, so that at the end of that next section, she kind of creates this vacuum where the air just naturally wants to fill it. But in all styles of music, breathe as much as you need to get the whole next phrase, but try not to breathe more than that. It only really becomes like a significant issue with some musical theater and with classical music, where we've got long enough lines that there really is more necessity of getting enough air in. But most people like overthink their inhale. I really think that.
I only love you when it's half past 5, the only time I'd ever call you mine. I only love it when you touch me, not feel me, 'cause I'm messed up, that's the real me. 'Cause I'm messed up, that's the real me, babe.
I like that she knows who she is as a singer. She's not going like super, super high. I don't know enough of her catalog to know if she ever goes super, super high, but so far she's going up to the B flat, which is just right above her first bridge. She's holding on through there. She's getting it to be a nice connected sound so that she doesn't have to flip to get through it. I think she'd be capable of going higher, but like it seems to me like she's pretty confident in having a lower voice, and she knows where she sounds good, and she doesn't want to push that too much. At least from this song and the little that I know from her otherwise.
I'ma let you know and keep it simple. Tryna keep it up don't seem so simple. You said keep our business on the low, low. You gon' have to do it at my tempo. Always tryna send me off to rehab.
Yeah, and it doesn't even sound like she's getting super loud when she goes up to that part, so I think that she'd be capable of going a little bit higher. I don't know, I'm gonna have to check her out more and see if she ever does. If you know of any examples of Dua Lipa singing a little bit higher than this B flat, taking it up into that higher mix territory rather than just that upper chest voice area, please leave a comment below. Let me know some videos where she does that, because I'd love to learn a little bit more about her voice.
I'm just tryna live life for the moment, while everybody else just wants a real love. I only call you when it's half past, but the only time that I'll be by your side. I only love it when you touch me, not feel me, 'cause I'm messed up, it's the real me, 'cause I'm messed up, it's the real me, babe.
So right before the chorus, she did go up to the C on an oo vowel, which oo is one of those vowels that generally encourages a little bit more head voice, but because of that, it also encourages a little bit more of a flip if you're not really consciously holding on, or if you don't like modify the vowel a little bit. I didn't hear her modify the vowel too much, and she was pretty skilled at holding on through that. So I think that's another good sign of, yes, she is capable of going higher. She's just not choosing to. The song doesn't require her to. And I get scared saying this because it sounds like I'm focusing so much on high notes as being an important thing. If you don't need to sing high notes for a song, then you don't need to sing high notes for a song. And you can have a really good performance without singing a single high note. High notes are not the defining quality of a good singer. And I think it's unfair to lower voices for how much people kind of dwell on that. The reason I bring it up is because high notes are kind of a technique thing in a way. If you have a lower voice, sometimes getting up to those higher notes, it can take longer to figure out how to do it, and it's going to sound slightly different. And sometimes it's just not in the cards all the time, and we don't need that.
I only love you when it's half past, but the only time I'd ever call you.
On Time, she kind of introduces a crack just for a stylistic effect. Because she does that, and I also hear the times that she's able to approach without that, it shows that it's just a stylistic effect. It's a choice that she's making.
Mine, I only love it when you touch me, not feel me, 'cause I'm messed up, that's the real me. When I'm messed up, that's the real me, babe. The hills have eyes, the hills have eyes.
So that had a little bit of pitchiness, but it's not like the huge deal. I use pitch as an indicator of, is there an unbalance somewhere else? So if I start hearing pitchiness, my first thought is never, oh wow, this person's got a bad ear, because she's a professional singer. She's got a good ear. Up till now, she's been right on with all of these things. That just shows me, maybe there is something that just isn't balanced quite as well that's forcing it into a different pitch. What can we do to fix that imbalance so that the pitch happens as she intends? Or did she intend it? I doubt she intended it, and it did sound just kind of like some weird imbalance of air and muscle. That's what it usually is. Maybe, I don't know, just pulling back to this section where it got quite a bit quieter, having it become a problem just then shows that there might be a little bit too much muscle on the stuff just previous to it. And like I said, she was introducing some of those cracky sounds on purpose because that's what she wanted. When you do that and you're not able to pull back, like that becomes something to start looking at just to make sure that you're doing it exactly how you want. I'm not convinced that was exactly how she wanted it, but I also don't think she was micromanaging it. That's why, like, in the moment, what you do is right, and people are gonna dig it. Like, they're gonna like what you do if you just stay in character and stay emotional to the song. Like, are you expressing your emotions in a healthy way? And then it's fine again. Her larynx is raising a little bit. She's, I wouldn't call that like a super nasal sound. It just sounds like her larynx is rising a little bit. But thinking about that little kind of quacky sound does help keep the vocal folds together as we're going toward these higher notes. So maybe she was thinking like slightly nasty when she get to that you versus you. And I think that that's helping her keep it together on these high notes. Because if she is a low voice person, like C is starting to get into that area that you just gotta sing. You gotta sing well. You gotta sing in a balanced way, or else it's gonna be inconsistent. And then she's through it. Like, that last part's the hardest part to sing in the song, I think. Cool. Yeah, I think overall she did quite a good job. It was stylistic, it was stylish, it was cool. I didn't see too much going on with her face. It just kind of looked like this for a lot of it. So that is another thing of like, is this what you're feeling the whole time is just this, or can we start being a little bit more expressive? And usually that starts happening because we're thinking about what's going on with our voice. We're micromanaging things in some sort of way. So that's a thing to check in with if you start getting stuck in just one facial expression. Are you thinking about what you're saying, or are you thinking about what your voice is doing and trying to manage it in some way? Overall, pretty good stuff. I do think that there are a few little things that we can tweak though, and especially with her volume as she starts going toward those high notes, and like the stylish things that she's doing, all of those added cracks and those swells in volume. I think they sound really cool, but I do think that we need to make sure that you can sing without all of those things and feel super balanced with that before starting adding those in. And I do think that a lot of times, like, really good pop singers start thinking too much about the style. They think about what they need to add and stuff to make it sound appropriate for the style, rather than just trusting their voice and getting it into a really balanced position. So I do think that that would be worth looking into. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Go check out the description. There's a link to my Patreon and to my Discord server. The Discord server is a really fun place. I would love for you to go check it out and come sing with us sometime. Thank you.